Church-going family man Tad Cummins seemed like a model citizen, but look closer and you'll find some cracks in that wholesome and happy facade.
Tad was kind of a bully about things.
Chandler Anderson worked with Cummins back when Cummins worked as a respiratory therapist at a local hospital.
He would say things like, "You're stupid. You know, you shouldn't be in the ER."
In front of other people?
Oh yeah, in front of other people. I have seen Tad be told no previously, and I've seen the rage and anger he gets.
Anderson says Cummins had a problem with authority. He didn't have enough of it. He says that's why Cummins switched careers and took a big pay cut.
If money's not the central issue and feeding your ego is, that's what he chose. That's why he became a teacher. Who tells a teacher no? Certainly not students.
And certainly not a student like Elizabeth Thomas, still reeling from the abuse she says she suffered at home, and who believes she's finally found an adult she can trust.
He made me feel like I didn't have anyone else and no one really cared about me like he did.
Jason Watley, the Thomas family attorney, spoke to us after Elizabeth went missing.
He was specifically grooming this child for a very specific purpose, and that was a relationship. He chose a girl that was clearly having issues because she went to him for quote-unquote counseling. She was the perfect victim.
I was feeling real low and I was wanting to get on antidepressants and try to go to a therapist, and he told me no and not to do it because it'd change who I was.
So he convinced you not to get help?
Yes.
What did he suggest you do instead?
Come to him.
I think it's another example of showing sort of to the community, to his wife, to everyone else, I'm trying to help this child. She comes to me at school, I counsel her, I'm going to make her a better person. We know that's all phony.
As part of the seduction, Cummins portrayed himself as an international man of mystery.
Apparently he told a lot of tales about his fictional background. He's a CIA operative, he's an FBI agent, he's a millionaire.
He would describe it as he went in and he killed people and he saved people and he killed bin Laden. And
he was telling you he did all of these crazy things?
And I knew that it wasn't real.
How did you view him at that point?
Kind of like a guardian or a mentor.
But Tad Cummins seems bent on bulldozing the boundaries of appropriate behavior.
How were you guys communicating?
We did via Instagram.
Cummins posts, "You're all my heart ever talks about. It was love at first sight, at last sight." Then there's Elizabeth's response. "I look forward to going to school just to see you. I love you."
Most of them from him would be sexual text.
He would sexually text you?
Yes, like sexting.
But their verbal communication is just as cringeworthy, especially when they're alone in his classroom, which is becoming an alarmingly regular occurrence.
I can't remember the conversation, and then next thing I know, he said, "You look pretty nice naked."
When did he take it from saying things like that to you to something more?
Whenever he first kissed me, that was whenever I realized this is getting too far.
In his classroom?
Yes.
Did you tell somebody?
No. Like, I didn't want anyone to really know. I was scared of what would happen if anyone did know.
From there, she says, it would escalate to unspeakable things that would take place in his classroom closet.
He'd open up the closet door and he'd look at me a certain way, and I knew if I didn't go that he'd be upset. And I was afraid to see him angry, and I've seen him angry since then, but he doesn't take no well.
At least one other student is afraid too.
A student reported seeing Elizabeth Thomas kissing Tad Cummins inside of his classroom. The student was very disturbed by what she saw, and she immediately went to report it to school officials.
The school investigates, but Elizabeth denies everything.
The reason that children that are being abused by teachers will not admit that something happened is fear. Because he's now guilt-tripping her regularly. You can't tell anybody, you know, you'll be ruined, your reputation in school will be ruined, I'll be fired.
Curiously, the school takes an entire week to alert police. And during that investigation, for some reason, Elizabeth says the school allowed her to go on a class field trip unprotected.
He was the only chaperone there.
He was the only chaperone. There were no other adults there.
No other adult. Other than the bus driver, but he was on the bus at all times.
Elizabeth says he took the opportunity to proposition her for sex, but she refused. The school finally tells Cummins and Elizabeth not to contact each other. Cummins then tells detectives their relationship is that of a father figure at school and denies ever kissing her. 5 days later, after the school reprimands him for allowing Elizabeth to come back to his classroom, Cummins is suspended.
How did he explain it to you?
That it was either someone telling a lie or thought they saw something that they didn't, and that it absolutely did not happen. I had no reason not to believe him. 31 years of marriage, you know, with no problems. Why would you not believe him?
And when all the students found out this was happening,
There was a lot of names and teasing that came around and a lot of bullying outside and inside of school.
how did they feel towards Tad as all this was happening?
They felt like I ruined his life.
Did the teachers know about what was going on?
A lot of them were made aware, and they also did a lot of the teasing and a lot of the name calling.
The teachers were doing the teasing.
Yes. A lot of them were.
Meanwhile, Cummins, now in exile from the school, begins acting strangely at home.
He always made the coffee the night before we would go to bed, and he started telling me how to make the coffee. And I was like, why are you telling me this? And I was in tears because I thought that he was afraid he was going to go to jail.
He was planning to go somewhere. Apparently, the teacher had convinced himself and his favorite student that there was only one way out, with each other on the open road.
He told you you had to go.
He said if he couldn't have me, he'd kill himself. Anytime he threatened himself, he threatened my family.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.